Hey everyone, Anna Squelch here with a new IGTV for your eyeballs, and I've got this in because I'm also recording it as a podcast because apparently evergreen content is the way to go. So this is going to come out on IGTV and on my podcast, the Full Circle podcast, if you're not already subscribed. So today I'm answering the question that came in from one of my beautiful followers, which is how to navigate self-development and wellness overwhelm. And I get it, as someone who is trying to do all of the things and, try all of the modalities and do all of the reading and the podcasts and all of that kind of stuff. I very much resonate with this question and getting overwhelmed in this space, because the wellness industry is the fastest growing industry in the world. It's $1 trillion industry, and it also is an industry that is built on fear. So many of us are being feared or guilted or shamed into pursuing different wellness modalities or wellness overall, right? So how to navigate self-development and wellness overwhelm. So here are my top tips. First thing, and this isn't just for this question, this applies so much more broadly, is to set the intention of authenticity and doing this for you only. So often we're trying to please other people and do things to get this external validation, but doing things from a place of internal validation is by far the most important and beneficial work that we will ever do. So number one, set the intention of doing this only for you, doing this self-help or self-development or wellness journey, whatever you want to call it, wherever you're at, set the intention that you're only doing it for you. Hope that's clear. Number two is, and it's kind of closely linked into number one around the intention, is having an intention or having a commitment to make decisions out of love versus fear. Now, there's only two ways that we can ever make decisions, and that is out of love or fear. And what this looks like is, so making a decision out of fear would be, I'm going to join the gym because I hate my body and I'm scared that I'm going to be rejected, or I'm scared that I'm going to end up alone if I don't lose weight and if I don't have a thigh gap, right? So this is coming out of fear. Versus a decision that's coming out of love, which looks like I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to join this gym or boot camp or whatever because I love my body and I love the way that exercise makes me feel, and I'm worth it. I deserve it. I'm worthy of having vibrant health. See those two different distinctions, love versus fear. And to go a little bit deeper into that, so love is, well, it's one of the highest vibrating emotions we can possibly feel. And so if we're coming from this place of love with all of our decisions, we become a magnet to attract in results, experiences, and more of that love vibration, versus coming from fear. And what lives under fear is anger, resentment, lack, rage, all of these kind of lower vibrating emotions. And so if we're choosing from scarcity, if we're choosing from fear of not being enough, fear of rejection, fear of failure, whatever it is, we're attracting in more of that, okay? So number three, set clear goals. If we have vague goals, we produce vague results. Or if we have no goals, we produce no results, right? So setting really clear goals or intentions. And I think I'm going to do a podcast episode or something around goal setting, because I get this question a lot, how to set goals and actually stick to them. And there's a very descriptive formula for that. So, where was I? Yeah, setting clear goals, or a goal, If you don't know where you're going, how do you know where you're going to end up? So get really clear on the goal, and it doesn't have to be something huge. Your goal might be to stop having recurring colds, or stop having recurring chest infections, or something like that. Just set a goal that feels really as if it will shift the needle in all other areas of your life, right? So I try and stay away from fear-based goals like losing X amount of weight, or X, Y, and Z. Because what those are saying is that I'm not enough as I am right now. And so much of this wellness journey, and whether it succeeds or fails, is around coming from this place of self-acceptance. And so self-acceptance, which is the very first module in my Radical Blueprint Mastermind,
Self-acceptance is saying, I love all of myself, I accept all of myself, everything that I've done, everything that's been done to me, exactly where I'm at right now, I accept it. It doesn't mean that I don't want to change it, but I accept it, right? And so coming from that place, it's a really beautiful kind of level launch pad for success, because if we're coming from this place of self-loathing, self-hatred, trying to get to self-love, it's a massive quantum leap, and so many people can't actually envision self-love when they're in so much self-loathing. And so a really beautiful first step is self-acceptance, and just saying, I accept all of it, right? And that's what that means, is taking radical responsibility, which is huge in any kind of wellness journey, is taking radical responsibility for exactly where you're at. Number four, get really clear, and you can kind of see that this is all the like pulling out of the weeds, and it's all of the, I'm not telling you, massive, huge stuff. I'm telling you really simple, fundamental stuff, because it's the fundamental, simple stuff that we often overlook because we don't think it's going to get us the results, but it's the most important part. And so number 4 is defining the why. So getting really clear on what your why is. And a great place to start is by reading Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And often we don't achieve our goals because we're not actually attached to that why. And in a similar vein to coming from fear versus love, our why can come from ego versus soul. And so ego is very fear-based, whereas soul is very love-based. And I say like ego is up here, soul is here. That's why you'll see me kind of tapping on my chest. But getting really clear on your why. So why do you actually want that thing? Why do you want to achieve that wellness goal or that transformation goal or whatever your path is? Is it so you can impress your friends? Is it so you can impress your family? Is it so you can look cool to outsiders? Again, external validation. Or is it because your soul knows that you want this for yourself, that you deserve it for yourself, that you're worthy of it, that you want to be living in the highest vibration possible? So tune into whether it's coming from impressing others, ego, fear, versus impressing yourself and validating yourself and filling your own soul cup up, which is soul love. Okay, number 5, again on the simple vein, is choosing one thing. We don't need to write down, and we're in January right now, so it's like goal setting season, and often we produce a whole A4 sheet of goals, but that becomes overwhelming in itself. And so start with one thing. What is the one thing that is going to shift the needle? And this is a process I take my clients through, which is called self-mastery. And it's all about the small rituals, behaviors, and actions that we take consistently, because consistency is so important, that are going to shift the needle, that are going to add up to big results. And so it might be committing to drinking a green smoothie every single morning, because that makes you feel good, it makes you vibrant, it makes you feel virtuous and accomplished. What is the one thing that you want to focus on in terms of self-mastery? Is it committing to 15 minutes of movement every single day for your body? Is it sitting down to a meditation for 10 minutes every day? Is it 3 Pilates classes a week? What is the one thing that you think you can commit to right now? Because when we master this one thing, it builds this intrinsic motivation, this intrinsic reward, so that we can add on the next one thing, right? So I don't want you choosing 10 things, feeling overwhelmed, giving up, going back to a worse place than when you started, and losing all motivation and losing all respect for yourself as well. We're building that internal trust muscle. And how do we build that internal trust muscle? Is by being in integrity with ourselves, being in integrity with what we have declared as our intention. Yeah. Where are we at? Okay, number 6. Number 6 is removing clutter. So removing everything in your life that doesn't align, doesn't align to your overarching goal or vision, right? So are there friends in your life that are toxic? Is there a relationship in your life that is toxic? Do you have possessions, clothes, your skinny clothes or whatever that you no longer fit into, that are making you feel lack or scarcity or fear?
So clearing out all of the clutter that doesn't align to our highest self or our highest vision for ourselves. And this is the fun part. This is where you get to go really Marie Kondo on your life and clear out, Facebook friends, people that you're following on Instagram who don't inspire you or motivate you or who make you feel less than. Putting boundaries in place with relationships. I think that one's pretty clear. What isn't aligned in your life, just clear that shit out. And actually what is attached to this is sitting down with yourself and getting really clear on what is a hard no when it comes to your values. What is an absolute no? What do you no longer have time for? What do you no longer want to spend your money on? Is it binge drinking? Is that going to align to your overall wellness and transformation values? Number 7 is following your intuition always. So committing to deciding, making decisions, and making choices from intuition. And again, this comes back to, is this an ego decision or a soul decision? Your soul is your intuition, or your intuition is your soul. And so often I get asked the question, how can you actually tell what is your intuition and how it's actually speaking to you? And it's going to be different for every person, but sometimes it might just be a quiet voice in your head saying, do this. Or it's either like a voice or it's a feeling. It's a feeling of expansion versus contraction. Contraction is an ego response. Your body will feel like a kick in the guts or a bit twisted and knotted in the stomach. Versus your intuition guiding you will be expansive. It'll feel easy, it'll feel flowy and effortless. It might still feel a little bit scary, and that's normal, but that fear is actually your body telling you that this thing is really important to you. So don't be afraid of fear. It doesn't mean that it's a no. And why I say follow your intuition always is something that was drilled into me while I was doing my health coaching certification with the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, is this concept of bio-individuality. So what works for me is not necessarily going to work for you. What works for your friend is not necessarily going to work for you. And where we see this the most is in exercise, right? So for women, high intensity exercise isn't the best for everybody. It may be good for some bodies, but it's not good for everybody. It's not good for my body. My body prefers walking, flowy Pilates and yoga. And it's the same thing with food. One person's gluten is fine, whereas on another person it's celiac disease and chronic inflammation. So bio-individuality is so important, and this is where marketing messages get really skewed, because the advertising industry, when it comes to wellness, is basically saying that it's a one-size-fits-all approach to wellness, and every slimming tea is going to be good for everybody. Not true. So bio-individuality, tuning into your intuition, really honouring your own needs and desires is super important on this wellness journey, and stopping the overwhelm, because often the overwhelm comes in because old mate next to you is getting results and you're not, but you're doing the exact same thing. But that's because you're not honouring your own individual uniqueness, your own genetic makeup, your own human design, all of that kind of stuff. So bio-individuality is super huge. Number 8. I wrote, surround yourself with GCs, and I think we all know what GCs are, but basically I'm meaning surround yourself with good people. And this kind of goes back to number 6, which is removing the clutter, removing the bad or ineffective people from your life so that you can thrive. Our environments are so important when it comes to achieving greatness. And what I hear from a lot of my clients is they come to me saying, I don't have like-minded people in my world. I don't have people who are on this journey of transformation or wellness or whatever. And because we are genetically wired to connect, to be in community, we kind of feel like, oh, but they're my friends and they think that wellness and self-help is crap, so I kind of want to connect and fit in with them, so I'm not going to go against the grain and do something different, right? Until the noise and until the lessons get really loud and nudge us on that path. And that's what happened with me. I knew that, my friends were kind of following this path and I was following this path, and I kept following that path thinking I have to, they're my friends, until the lessons and the universe nudged me so loudly that I had to start following my authentic path. And that's when I met the most amazing friends who are on that exact same path too. And that happens all the time. It still happens. So surround yourself with GCs. Number 9, so we've only got 10. So number 9 is take what resonates and leave the rest. So what this means is we are exposed to so many wellness messages and whatever all over the world, yada yada. Take what resonates and leave the rest. And again, this comes back to your bio-individuality. Does that sound like something that I would enjoy, or I'm working towards, or is part of my value set? Or am I not really interested in that? We don't have to try everything. We don't have to try every new, what's the word? Keto diet and paleo diets and waist trainers, and we don't have to try everything. Take what resonates for you. And how to figure out whether something resonates for you is getting really clear on your why and getting really clear on your core values and where you're actually heading, what your intention is. You do not have to take everything on board. You do not have to agree with everything. Be discerning. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Okay, and number 10 is have fun with it. We don't have to be so serious about this self-help journey or this wellness journey or whatever it is, whatever journey you're on. Give it your own name, but it doesn't have to be so serious. And part of why so many of us are suffering and unhappy is because we've truly forgotten joy, and we've truly forgotten to prioritize play and that childlike joy. And so having fun with it, exercise should be fun. You don't have to be slogging it out at the gym. Choose an exercise that's really fun for you. And there's so many different options available now of exercises that are fun. They're not boot camps. I fucking hated boot camp, but I thought that I had to do it because I thought that exercise had to be really hard and really uncomfortable and really painful, and I had to really not look forward to it. But exercise gets to be fun now. I surround myself with fun teachers, Pilates teachers or whatever, and I have fun with it. Go dancing or go for a walk or go skipping or climbing trees or whatever it is. A big part of navigating self-development and wellness overwhelm is being really discerning, being really true to yourself and checking in with, okay, does this feel fun? No? Okay, course correct. Choose something else. It's never, ever, ever too late to choose, to start again, to try something different. And just remember that always keep in your head, and I say this to my clients all the time, progress, not perfection. Progress, not perfection. We're on a journey. We're all on a journey. We don't have to get there. We can be so focused on the end result, and I'm not there yet, I've failed. But it's all in the journey. It's all in figuring out in every single moment and every single decision what's right for you, what is in your authentic truth, what's in alignment and what's not. And it comes back to what you're doing 80% of the time. You don't have to be 100% of the time good or effective or making pure choices. Have fun with it. So long as you're making effective choices 80% of the time, have fun. Be reckless with 20% of the time. It's all good. It's never too late to start. It's never too late to start a new habit. There's so many books available dedicated to habits and forming habits and all of that kind of stuff. But it just comes back to being really radically honest and truthful with yourself and making that commitment and realizing that you're worthy. And final thing I want to say is empower yourself with knowledge. Knowledge is power, but it is only power if we actually use that knowledge, right? It's no use sitting up in our head. We have to actually put that knowledge into action every single day. So that is it. Thank you so much for submitting this question. I love answering these for you guys. If there's any more questions, just DM me on Instagram and I will be more than happy to create another IGTV and podcast so that I can just get this knowledge into more eyes and ears. I really just want to empower everyone to live a life that is radically authentic with who they are, not with anybody else in the world, just with who they are. self-discovery is the name of the game, and it is so liberating. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.